Thank you for joining me for this introductory video on a walk around of the new Jazz Crosstar. If you're familiar with the new Jazz, you will see some differences already. So we're going to point out for you the differences and also the similarities between this and the new Jazz. And we're going to do that by looking at the outside of the vehicle. Then we'll go and look inside so we can talk about more of the technologies and the features and benefits that are going to make your life easier and more comfortable when you're driving this car. So right from the front, you will notice that the nose is different to the brand new Jazz. So we have a different grille design, we have different surrounds for the lights, and also the lower chin spoiler down there is a different material, different look to it as well. When we get to the back, you'll notice that is also slightly different, and that's only added 46mm to the overall length of this car when compared to new Jazz. But for the moment, we'll just focus on the front and we'll look at the smooth, lovely lines we've got here, and you can probably barely notice that the parking sensors are integrated into those grey surrounds for the lower lights down there. But above those, we actually have full LED lighting, both at the front and at the rear of the car. Now that's really important, because not only are LEDs very attractive to look at, they make you easier to be seen on the road, but they will give you more of a daylight light when you're driving. So again, less fatigue of nighttime driving, keeping you safer on the road. Flowing up from the lights, again, you'll see the nice curves in the bonnet there, and underneath the bonnet, I appreciate you can't see it, but we do have our hybrid powertrain underneath there, or the majority of it. And this hybrid powertrain gives us the ability to have really good CO2s and fantastic fuel economy. So the 1.5 litre petrol engine is mated to 2 electric motors, and they have 3 driving modes that we can have. So it can be an EV, that's full electric vehicle mode, where we're using no fossil fuels at all to propel us. It's just stored in the high voltage battery at the back, and it will propel us forwards. We have hybrid mode, where the petrol engine is actually spinning a generator that will create electricity, and the front wheels can be powered from that electricity stored in the battery at the back. Then we have engine mode. This is where the petrol engine can actually spin the drive motor, and that will turn the road wheels. That's why this is incredibly smooth. You will never feel a transition between EV, hybrid or engine mode. It's a joy to drive, it truly is. There is one more mode though, we have regeneration. So when you're slowing down or applying light braking, we use our regenerative braking to actually store up energy that would, in a traditional car, just be lost. And again, that goes to charge up our battery in the back of the car. So there's no need to plug this in overnight. It is literally a self-charging hybrid. Moving from the bonnet up, you'll notice from the outside that the wipers, they sort of sit on a black band. Now that is because we have hidden wipers, so when you're inside of the car, you don't see that distraction. They're well out of the way. We have a low flat dashboard in there, and this is really to maximise your visibility when you're driving the car. A little bit further up from that, you'll notice that the A-pillars are incredibly slim. Now Jazz has always been famed for its fantastic visibility. We used to have an angle of 69 degrees of visibility for the driver. That's now increased to 90 degrees. So even better visibility, even further reduced blind spots, keeping you safer. As we get to the top of the screen, you'll see quite a subtle camera. So it's a one camera system that does many things, one of which is Honda Sensing. Now Honda Sensing has many elements to it. Just to pick one, CMBS, Collision Mitigation Braking System. This is a system that uses the brakes to mitigate a collision. So in simple terms, if I'm driving along and there's a car, a lorry, a truck or something in front of me, the camera system is recognising my speed compared to theirs, and if I'm not paying attention, it can actually apply brakes to mitigate a collision. This can happen at higher speeds or even at lower speeds. And the next generation that we have on Jazz can now actually pick up on pedestrians. So if we're travelling less than 60 miles an hour in our car and a pedestrian walked out from the side of the road, we hadn't noticed them, the car can actually, on my behalf, do a full emergency stop once the camera system has recognised that pedestrian walking in front of me. Also, it can recognise cyclists. So if a cyclist crosses the path in front of me, again, the advanced camera system will recognise that, and if I do nothing, it can apply brakes on my behalf. So a fantastic system. There are many features within this. That is just one of them, just to highlight them. As we move around the side of the car, you'll see some wheel arch mouldings. So these give the car that sort of SUV look. Now the car is only 10mm higher than the Jazz, but we give it that SUV style. So we do have a different wheel design compared to the new Jazz. We have the arches around the wheel arch to get a say, to give that SUV look, added to which the side mouldings on the door as well. Now we're at the side, you'll see the wheel design, which is really, really nice. But behind that, something you won't see is the low friction suspension, which seems like a strange thing to talk about. Why would you want low friction suspension? Well, we know that the UK roads, they're not brilliant. We have lumps, bumps, potholes, and all those kind of associated damages to roads. What the low friction suspension will do is absorb that force to give us a more comfortable ride inside the car for us as a driver, but equally for all of our passengers as well. So from the side of the car, you'll notice that the A-pillars and the roof are in a black finish. Also on top of that, we have the roof rails, again for that active lifestyle, making it really useful, practical and easy to live with. As we're moving towards the back of the car, you'll notice that we have EHEV on the tailgate, just that nod towards our hybrid powertrain, again for that fuel efficiency, low emissions. Now we open the tailgate, you'll notice we have a really usable boot space, even though we have a hybrid battery inside there. So we have 298 litres of usable boot space, and you'll also see some of the premium audio that we have. So this car is going to sound great when you're driving it, and one of the speakers is in the back, in the boot area. You can just see to the left-hand side there. But not only do we have a really usable boot space inside the car, the loading edge is quite low. So getting your shopping in and out is really easy. So again, one of the things Jazz has always been is an easy car to live with, really practical, and we've maintained that with new Jazz and new Jazz Crosstar as well. As we get to the driver's side, we'll open both of the doors, so for the rear passenger and also for the driver there, and you'll notice how they open in 3 stages. Just so depending how much space somebody's left you in that car park situation, we can actually just open the first stage, second, or if there's nobody there, third stage, and you'll see how wide open these doors are to gain really easy access into the car itself. Now that we're there, I'd like to invite you into the driver's seat. I'll pop around the other side and we'll look at some of the features inside the car for you. And now we're inside, the first thing that strikes me is the comfort of the seats. Now, we do have anti-fatigue seats in here to make those long journeys really, really comfortable, but instantly you do feel comfortable in these seats. An extra addition to this particular vehicle is the nature of the material, which is water resistant. Again, really good for that active lifestyle. Now, it wouldn't be part of the Jazz family if Jazz Crosstar didn't have magic seats. So of course, in the back, the seats will fold flat down, they'll raise up, so any number of things can be carried, whether it's the occasional trip to the DIY store, whether it's a mountain bike with the front wheel removed, whatever it is, you know you can pretty much carry it in a Jazz Crosstar. In addition to the water-resistant coating on the seats, we actually have heated front seats as well. Added to that, we have a heated front screen as well. Again, just making it even more comfortable for those chilly winter mornings. When we look through the windscreen, we mentioned from the outside how good the visibility is, and it really does show. We have really narrow A-pillars, we have hidden wiper blades, just maximising our view from inside the car out. Moving down from the windscreen, we actually have our Connect unit. Now on there are many items. So we have things you'll be familiar with, like satellite navigation. If you've used Android Auto before, we have it on the Jazz Crosstar. But now Apple CarPlay is actually wireless. So for the first time, the only reason you'll need to plug in your iPhone is if it needs charging up. If it's just to use this system, it's all done through Bluetooth. Fantastic. In addition to that, you can actually opt for Honda Personal Assistant. So Honda Personal Assistant can do very similar things to your Google Assistant or Siri. So if you asked the car to find you a restaurant, but you wanted Italian food, you wanted a free car park, and you wanted it suitable for vegetarians, it can do that all in one hit. And all you have to say is, OK Honda. What it can do in addition to that though, is control some elements of the car. So if there's a particular radio station you wanted to tune to, actually you could just use that same command and it would tune in the radio to that frequency for you. So your music, your destination, you can really interact with the car simply by using that command. Storage on the car is tremendous. So we have central cup holders, we have cup holders by the air vents as well to keep them at the same temperature as your climate control for the cabin of the car. We have door pockets and we now have 2 glove boxes. So we have the traditional one by my knee and then above it we have a secondary one to really maximise the space and the practicality inside the car. From a safety point of view, we share technology with the Jazz. Jazz Crosstar actually gets 10 airbags. The additional airbags are a knee airbag for the driver and a centrally mounted airbag that would come out of the driver's seat, and this is to protect the driver and the passenger's head should there be a collision. Class-leading safety in the small car category. So there are many, many more features on the car. What we want is for you to experience these firsthand. So please contact your local dealer so you can get up close and personal with the Jazz Crosstar.